Oh man, I almost forgot about y'all people, man. My apologies. What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36, and this is a special edition of Why So Fucking Serious, man. Um, isn't that what the Joker used to do, like lick his lips? Um, just always remember, y'all know I'm gonna show up, and I know I'm gonna do my best to show up, and y'all know I'm gonna do my job when I come in there. So, um, what's going on, everybody? Especially all those in the chat already, keeping each other updated. If you would, do a job. I don't have any of my equipment, so I need y'all to share. I need people to post up, tell the world this. Let's just do a little catching up, man, on what's going on. It was like I feel like there was some major news that happened, and like I just can't wrap my mind around if anything has ever had like anything wild happened like yesterday. If anybody can like help me get an understanding of why is Twitter going? Why is the college sports football landscape going crazy? If anybody can help me, because I've been taken aback, man. I've just been vibing. I'm enjoying family time. My mom was with me. We're playing cards and shit. And I noticed, so it all started like a bunch of people were just like, "Yo, we we don't have enough guys. Like we're not getting linemen. We're not getting this. This is why we're not here. This is why we're not there." Okay, request. I will pay for the request. Just trying to give you guys the fucking backdrop. Shout out to 4 Points for. I told them I needed somewhere to go. Pause real quick and do something, and they were like, "Here you go, brother. Enjoy, flourish." Damn, that still ain't better. Still got a glare. All right. All right. I don't like this shit either. Let me find something. Oh, shit. This is heavy. All right. I don't do spaces. So, I mean, I'll talk in spaces, but I can't, like, spaces don't make any sense to me. So, all right. So, no equipment, just the phone, just me talking to you, here to answer any questions. Hopefully, there's no breaking news, as I don't have anything to backdate and fact check it. But make sure you check out Big Games BS, where we will get back on it. We will talk about what's going on. But before we do this, guys, make sure if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We're about 400 and I believe like 4,000, excuse me, 4,240 some odd subscribers away. I mean, we're 4,240 subscribers. That puts us almost at about that's at 760 away from 5,000. That puts us at 5,760 away from the goal of 10,000 by the end of the year. Please subscribe. Please consider becoming a member. So we'll go back to yesterday. Um, and then we'll we'll go further back in time. Then we'll come back to the future, and then we'll talk about why we are in the place in which we are in today. Yesterday, at about four, between 4 and 5 o'clock, the college football world was shocked, and it wasn't shocking as you knew it was going to come eventually. But Nick Saban decided that he was going to retire. Nick Saban retired, and it really set in the chain of events. And what ends up happening is now everybody has to figure out who is the person to replace, arguably, I won't argue it, but arguably the best coach in college football history. Normally, you would go with somebody in their bloodline, in their coaching tree. Sometimes you'll go outside of it. And the first, there was a lot of thoughts about who would this guy be, and so that's what happened yesterday. And it kind of made sense of a chain of events that had already started to happen. Like, why were so many so many people have been using the Alabama, the Georgia philosophies as to why how you're supposed to build your program. Well, why were all of these Alabama players starting to transfer out? Why were so many wide receivers when they went back? Every wide receiver from the 21, and the 20, and now the 20. Excuse me, I'm wrong. The 21 and the 22 class literally transferred out of Alabama. Now you had a kid who was from the no, I wasn't 20. The 21, the 20 and the 21 class, some from the 22, and now 21, 22, and now you had a kid from the 23 class transfer out. Now you've got offensive linemen, defensive linemen, linebackers, running backs, a whole bunch of guys that are hitting the portal for a team that has such a winning culture. I mean, most of us chalked it up as that we're paying attention to the way that the college football was going. Most of us chopped it up as, hey, the wave, the second SEC wave of transfer portal people are going to hit after the bowl games. You get a 5-game window after your head coach leaves. After the bowl game is over. You get a 30-day window once your head coaches leave. And what's crazy is no major domino fell this year. And I was upset because I should have used my picture of. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post me and my picture of the GOAT. I got a chance to meet Jimmy Sexton this year. Jimmy Sexton hasn't done any. This would be the first year of anarchy. If you followed me, or if you followed my boy OJ, or if you paid attention to college football, you can predict the calendar and seasons. There's hurricane season if you're a state of Florida, and then right around November, when hurricane season is coming to an end, it's Jimmy Sexton season. Jimmy Sexton starts putting these little birdies out. And then what happens is Jimmy Sexton moves this domino over. And then all the pieces fall in the manner in which he gets paid. This is the man who single-handedly controls college football. If you don't know this name, it's Jimmy motherfucking Sexton. Who is Jimmy Sexton's clients? Washington's coach just became a Jimmy Sexton client. Mike Norvell is a Jimmy Sexton client. 75% of all coaches in college football are Jimmy Sexton clients. What is it? What they say? What 3/4 of the world is covered with water, and the rest of it is covered by Jimmy Sexton. So, but we haven't had any of those things. So fast forward to, so keeping going backwards, college football went against its own self. College football has always told us, win if you're in. Kirk Herbstreit tweet talking about Ohio State, just win and you're in. Everybody has said the Power 5 champion that's undefeated will always get an opportunity to compete for the national championship. Even the most competitive. They've had instances where injuries have happened. That can't let you out. There's all these kind of different things that have happened. And now all of a sudden, Florida State's in the situation and Alabama's peaking again and the narrative changes. But why is the narrative all of a sudden changing? The narrative is changing and Alabama is being talked about as a team. It starts to be, what if Bama wins? Will Georgia come in? And blah, blah, blah. Bama wins, beats Georgia. Bama loses to Texas. Bama gets in, but you can't put them in and not beat Texas, who beat them fair and square on the road. But then you think about it. After the loss, after the national championship, Nick Saban retires. And now the whole college football world is on notice while Alabama is mourning. They have a decommit from their top from one of their top wide receivers in this class. And he does it in a time where most people are almost damn near full from their on their 85-man roster. So they can't poach this class, or there's no places for them to go. So now, what happens when this chain of events takes place? And where does that leave Florida State? Well, what happens with the chain of events is somebody's got to fill this void. Dan Lanning was the guy that everybody said was the person that was supposed to fill the void. He was the most logical choice. Dan Lanning says that now he's staying where he's at. Now Mike Norvell is being rumored to be one of the guys that are going to Alabama. Dober from Washington. They've put Kiffin. They've put Dabo Swinney. They've put quite a few other coaches as up there with taking that Alabama job. But nobody has made ESPN and the world turn more than the entry of Mike Norvell, which is ironic because they spent an entire month talking about why Florida State wasn't it. And after the loss to Georgia, the 63-3 loss to Georgia, where many Alabama fans said this is why you didn't deserve to be in. Now all of a sudden the spin cycle's coming on. They talked about the culture and guys opting out, but now all of a sudden, who better than to continue the culture of Nick Saban than Mike Norvell? Von Meyer puts this, and this is very true. I heard the Patriots and Belichick are parting ways. It's the end of an era, man. We're seeing all the GOATs go away. You got Pete Carroll's being parting ways with. A lot of people are getting parting ways with. And what's up, everybody in the chat? Make sure you please, contribute to the chat with your questions as we can as I continue to spell the narrative. And then from there, we'll answer as many questions as we can. Continue to share the chat. Make sure you go like it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Push this out there. But that gets us to here. I want us to stop being so reactionary and start really being forward thinkers. Florida State fans and Twitter was in a tizzy. Mike Norvell is leaving because talking heads told us that Mike Norvell is leaving. And here's why it's kind of illogical to even go that frame of thought. Today we'll have 2 transfer portal commits, more than likely. 2 transfer portal commits today. We got crystal ball for Amari Williams, a defensive end who we had to early enroll. We've got more kids coming in. And if you know how things are trending, Mike Norvell was stated to make $8 million this year. Anyway, I believe this is going into the last year of his first extension. Mike Norvell is stated to have a contract extension anyway. But let me tell you how agents work. Jimmy Sexton does due diligence for all of his clients. Jimmy Sexton, literally, anytime an opening happens, it's his job to make sure his client gets the most money. And we got Terrence Ferguson, the offensive lineman from Alabama, by the way, to come to Florida State. And we've got another one coming in. I won't say his name because I don't like ruining kids' commitments, but I've talked about him ad nauseum. We're working on getting him an edit and some other things made. But let's talk about the Alabama job as we know it. Alabama is a great job because Nick Saban is a great coach. Much like Florida State, up until Jimbo was able to do it and Mike Norvell was able to resurrect it again, was a good job because Bobby Bowden coached at such a high level. We'll also probably Dog, that's 3 Bama transfers. And we're probably going to get 4 because we're going to probably get that running back as well. Alabama was coached by Bear Bryant for so long. After Bear Bryant, a couple guys came in, if I remember correctly. Check my history. They had a dip off. Then they had a coach come back in, brought him back to brought him. I think it was Gene Stallings, brought him back to prominence. Gene Stallings leaves in '97, if I remember correctly. You get Dennis Franchione, who was with Texas A, who was at Texas A&M. He gets fired. They bring in Mike DuBose, who got fired before he got a chance to even get in there because he was having some good strip club action at a Pensacola strip club. And then you get Mike Shula. You had, they were all the way down. Nick Saban wasn't even Alabama's first choice. Rich Rodriguez was Alabama's first choice, who ended up leaving West Virginia to go to Michigan, to get fired from Michigan, to go to Arizona, to eventually get fired from Arizona. Rich Rodriguez was who Alabama wanted. I believe they wanted somebody else. Nick Saban was their last shot because everybody told them no. Alabama caught lightning in a fucking bottle, and it was epic and it was amazing for them, and they had a fucking amazing run. But guys, in the not too distant past, Alabama in 19 is really what made me awaken to it was talking on a Renegade Report with my former teammate B-Mac from in 97, in 97, 98, 99, 2000, 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06. Nobody was wanting to go to Alabama. Nobody was trying to go to Alabama. Now, what we had though was when Saban took it over, he made it sexy to go to Bama. And what happened was he made Bama a good job because he forced. Hold on, real quick. Oh, hold on. I don't even know how that got through. Oh, okay. Damn. Okay, my bad. I thought I was getting some. I thought I got some news that was checking me out. Anyways, going back to what I said, Saban, they had to give Saban an open checkbook, open access to do whatever he is that he wanted to do. They did that because they did that because they did that because nobody wanted to go there, and that was what worked. So here's what happens when up and coming coach takes this job. Up and coming coach Mike Norvell takes this job. You don't get the same rules that Nick Saban came in. Nick Saban came into that job with the national championship. He came into that job having built Michigan State, having built LSU into something that they weren't, having 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 really everybody talks about how bad he was in Miami. He wasn't bad in Miami. Miami was like 7-9 the 2 seasons that he was there. He was actually doing really, really good compared to what Miami was before that. You guys have to adopt the darkness. See, now the light just hurts my eyes. That's the other one. That's not Batman. That's the second Batman. But that's my favorite one. I don't like the Joker. I actually think Heath Ledger's Joker is a little overrated. By the way, I like Jack's Joker. Jack's Joker actually kind of scared me. But Bane was like so fucking logical. Bane and Thanos are two guys that make sense. If you really listen to what they were trying to do, they really were trying to make the world a better place. And then comes some random people to try to fuck up the happiness, but random Marvel moments. But but all that being said, all that being said, I think we're giving Bama the benefit of the Saban, and they kind of mixed it. It's kind of like did I don't even want to go that route because I still think Bill Belichick is an important reason to why Tom Brady was there. So, but anyways, all that said, and if you don't think Jack Nicholson is the best Joker, you're wrong. It's okay. Um, first, Phil said cut the lights off. Phil, I don't do this for the men. That's one of my. I don't do this for the men, guy. This is wrong podcast for that. But going back to what we were discussing with all of this, Mike Norvell. If you look at why, let's go first to Dan Lanning, and why didn't Dan Lanning leave Oregon to come to Alabama? One, he's at Oregon. Oregon is in a position where they have every resource, all the money. They have no national championships. They want to consistently be in it. They got enough money to where if they just stick around and he keeps winning, he gonna fuck around and look into a national championship if he's there 10 to 15 years. The statistics are just really, really good with them. And if you win it, you'll always be known, and Phil will probably give you a percentage of Nike. That's how much. As long as Phil Knight's alive, Oregon will always and forever be relevant. And with the current culture in the landscape of NIL, transfer portal, stability is what's going to be the biggest key. That is going to be the thing that Alabama is going to have to face with a lot of the coaches who are in the top 10, top 15 jobs. When you look at these guys in the top 10, the top 15 jobs, you're in a position to where they can pay you the money. They can figure out how to build the facilities because they've got a dedication to making bread. They've got a dedication to building the program. Mike's already making 8. And guess what happens this year, Florida State fans? We no longer are burdened with the biggest, like, again, one of my Black history facts is name me the African American who had the biggest heist in Florida State, in the state of Florida history, like working for the state of Florida. Does anybody know the biggest fleece job? It was almost up there with Ocean's 11 type of heist. That would be what Willie Taggart fleeced the state of Florida and our taxpayer dollars for. Shout out to Willie. I love failing like that. But Willie's contract is done. We were paying $4 million damn near dollars a year already to a coach to not coach. Now we ain't got to worry about that. And we was paying this motherfucker $6-7 million. Now you just do the math. One could deduce we can pay upwards to X amount of dollars for this. I think Mike is already getting paid $8 for this year. We can bump that up to where he will not be the highest paid coach in the NCAA. He will be one of the highest paid coaches. And Jimmy Sexton's job is to make sure that we understand that he can be paid. He can be one of the highest paid coaches in the NCAA if necessary. So that's kind of where we're at today. But the panic button and how fast you people hit the panic button is amazing to me. It's irrationally sassy. Like, guys, one thing I will say with coaching searches and with hirings and firings, you never trust anything. You take it day by day. But god damn, dog, like, we're literally looking at everything that this man is doing today. Nobody is operating as a guy who is like, if you feel like you're not going to be here, you don't take this job. You don't take the commitments. You don't have guys calling me trying to figure out what do we need to do with Jamie French? What do we need to do with Drake Stubbs? Is Tremel fine? Is this going on? Is this happening? How do we get this offensive lineman? How do we bring the best team? Mind you, before I even get into the nonsensical panicking, not that it couldn't happen because anything can happen, but a meteor can hit America right now. And that's true. We could have one. But that doesn't mean I'm going to go around living my life like one. But what's crazy is that you guys, we're taking legitimate, like getting worried by people who just picked on us about 63-3, who just said Norvell's overrated, who just said all of these different things. And that's who's striking fear into you. But bigger than this, as a guy who, for the ladies on the chat, forgive me and my candor. For those who are new. Actually, for any of those who are new, some of you guys may be my older knows. I appreciate you guys for watching me. I appreciate you for all of these things that you've done over the years. Appreciate you supporting the MFTK Foundation, all of that stuff. But we curse and we talk a little brash on this show, on this network. I can tell some of y'all never got no hoes. I can really tell some of y'all ain't never got no bitches. I can really tell some of you ladies never dealt with you've never dealt with a really bad man. The ladies, like if the ladies are panicking. I can tell the guys you've never had that, what was it? What, 36, 24, 36? She's a winning hand, a brick house. Just bow, bow, bow. Face right without makeup. Got a mean switch when she walks. It oozes sexuality. Now, she can wear a fucking potato bag, and everybody's gonna want that bad bitch. I can tell some of y'all have never had this in your life before, and there's nothing wrong with that because everybody with great pussy comes great responsibility. It's a tough thing, man. And then the women in these, I'm with you guys. The women in this generation. Some of y'all women never had that dude with that know how to hit what that lady said, the back of your vagina. Like you ain't never had that happen because when that happens, he's done it to other women. Other women are going to want that. You have to understand that people want bad bitches are coveted by other individuals. If you go around wondering if your bad bitch is going to be with another dude, you're going to go insane. You're going to be one of those guys. What you got to realize is this. If you got a bad bitch, in order to get a bad bitch, you got to be a bad Kanika. Shout out to my boy in the Noah Kanika family, my favorite family in America, the Kanikas. I want Kanikas in Doak Campbell Stadium. Pete, you gotta get that full of D. You gotta hit them with the full of D. That's how you keep a bad bitch. You know who hits them with the full of D? I believe Mike Offer. Here's what Mike Offer can do. And here's why I'm not panicking. Here's why Big Game never walks around panicking. One, when I was coming up, old saying, rapper Mason Bethel, before he became a pastor, he had this song called Jealous Guys. And at the end of Jealous Guys, he said, girls are like buses. If you miss one, another one's going to come around every hour on the hour promptly. It's like trains. Ladies, you can flip that, take that same thing for you. It's not, the numbers aren't quite as well for you, but if you listen to this show, I'm going to make sure you stay with a bad motherfucker, okay? You listen to this show, I'm not going to tell you everybody in that text. Like if they're green, then they probably a bad dude. Now, if they're white, I'm gonna tell you, don't hang out, don't operate with the whites. Get you a color in the chat section, and you're gonna be fine. Those colors typically know what they're doing. The whites in my section, I don't necessarily think they do, but that's no disrespect. You got to understand the lingo. Get hip to the lingo. But I'm saying all this to say is that Mike Alford is building. Mike Alford is building something behind the scenes to make Florida State a conducive product for the next guy coming in if it's not Mike Norvell. So that's really why I'm not panicked. You have to do that. For the first time in our program's history, we have an admin that is actively trying to make sure it fosters a championship program. And you have, along with the coach, who is trying to make sure that a championship program is developed and fostered as well. It is a well-oiled machine, and for the most part, everybody is going in the same direction from admin to athletic staff to athletic training to the coaches to the players, and we have not had that in quite some time. I don't think we've ever had that. Bobby won in spite of. Bobby won with people always saying you don't need that, and Bobby's personality and the landscape of college football did prove that he did need those things, and he didn't need to have to fight for those things. I always state, what if they would have built Bobby the indoor practice facility in '94 like he asked for it? Johnny, you need to become a green. Johnny, we got to get you a colored. We got to get you to become a colored. We got to let people see this. Johnny, $3.99 to become a colored. Become a colored. But I believe you, baby. I appreciate you bringing that seasoning over here to me. But Bobby won in spite of. But if Bobby would have had that, we might be the fucking Jetsons. We might have the first football-only facility in the sky. And that's what Saban came into. Saban came into a situation, open checkbook, open minds, do not question my authority, and continue to get more power to be able to do things. He innovated. Much like what Bobby did when he came in, he changed the landscape. This is why Saban is a GOAT. Bobby changed the landscape of college football and made people play the game differently. At that time, Nebraska was the way that everybody wanted to play football. It was find the largest mammals and move earth. Whereas Bobby employed a philosophy that you cannot hit what you cannot catch. We're going to be faster. We're going to be stronger. We're going to be all of these different things. And that's really where it came down to it. Oh, Bobby? Bobby? The old man, as I affectionately call him, Bobby, to you, the old man, as I affectionately call him, came in, changed the culture, changed the landscape. And a lot of people went out there. Shout out to Tara Branch, becoming a colored. I appreciate you. With a name like Tara, I'm assuming you're a female. We need to get our female membership up. When you look at it like that, what Saban was able to do was he was able to take the NFL mindset and bring it over to college football. And what does that mean? NFL, when I was there, I had my position coach and he had assistants. When I was playing in college, I had a position coach. That was it. Some people had a GA or a student assistant, but we didn't have a lot. Billy Sexton coached all the running backs, fullbacks and running backs. There wasn't nobody else there to help. Now you go out to a practice in today's game, you see multiple assistants that are there that can help you build, not just game plan, not just help you practice plan, but they can help you in recruiting. They can help you in development. He also innovated by bringing in analysts that were former head coaches that traditionally coached against him so that he can now self-audit himself. I want you to scout me. What did you see that I didn't do right? What did you see that you tried to exploit on our weaknesses? Can you show me this so that we can become stronger? That's what Saban did, because Saban had an open checkbook, an open mind, and he made sure that they knew that his authority was to not be questioned and challenged. Where you're almost getting that somewhere else. Why the fuck would you go somewhere else where you know you're not going to get that? Leaving Florida State would mean that you would not get that you would no longer have the control, and you would no longer have you would have to reprove yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, man, them motherfuckers are used to winning. And fans are becoming increasingly more irrational. You'll leave a fan base that cries every time something seemingly bad happens in Florida State, and that's us. I'm going to pick on us a little bit. We some bitches, man. We need to hit up alpha male jacks. You need to get your hormone levels checked. A little less, little testosterone, a little too much estrogen free flowing in some of these men. We got to be able to come in and not be swayed and cry all the time. He's going to leave that to a fan base that's going to be like, yo, we got to fire this guy because he lost to LSU and he lost to the SEC championship. And then lastly, the saying goes, never be the guy to follow up after the guy. Like, fellas, if she got some Fuller D and you ain't got Fuller D, and you know she just left that Fuller D, you need to be the boyfriend after that. Like, don't go in that thing because you're going to be in that thing swimming, bro. I'm just here to tell you, you're going to fall in. Like, you don't want to be the guy after the guy. It almost hardly ever works. The only time I've ever seen it work was with Jimbo, with Bobby. And Jimbo was on staff. And it almost didn't work with Jimbo. Jimbo don't win in 2012, we fucking getting rid of Jimbo ass expeditiously. I wanted to say another example, but y'all not really ready for that. It's middle of the afternoon. Some of y'all are probably taking your kids home from school. I don't want to bother you. I don't want you to have to I don't want to have to bother you for that. I'd like to make you feel that. Plus, some of the parameters that have been said, and again, things change. Anything can happen. My sources have told me that it's not going to happen. But then again, I'm not a reputable source. My sources also told me that that Mike wasn't going to be the head coach in the first place. What up, Eccles? If a person of color were to get that job as not one of my people here with on my line, but a black person or a minority, there's two minorities that could get that job. My man's name escapes me right now, and I apologize. It should not be, but he's currently the Houston Texans head coach, former Alabama grad. He will not take that job because he is the darling of the NFL right now. And then Steve Sarkisian, who's Armenian, he's not white. He could take that job, but he won't take that job because he's at Texas. He's, again, a lot of the guys that would take this job are already at jobs, except for guys who would not be qualified for this. D'Amico Ryans, thank you. Except for guys who are not qualified for this job. Hey, man. Hey, chill on that. That's my homie, dog. I grew up with L'Oreal Sarkisian. Real talk. Mike Smith, guy who's probably going to end up being the interim AD at FAMU again, is her father. Came up with them. Really good family, cool people, man. Beautiful family too. Everybody's beautiful in their family. The daughters, the sons are handsome. Things of that nature. I'm so fucking secure. Grew up with the motherfuckers to be able to say that. It's also the only family that I've ever found where everybody is fast. Like L'Oreal ran track at JU and then North Carolina A&T, and then she coached track at USC, and I believe that's where her and Sark met each other. Little Mike played football at Arkansas after Darren McFadden and those guys, and then Little Malix is playing professional baseball. I believe he has a steals record in the minor leagues. Don't get me started on this. Tomorrow's going to be all about. We're going to call tomorrow's big game BS coaches searches and the bullshit. So we're going to really dig deep, and I'm going to give some real fucking opinions about that shit. And they're not going to go get my guy on from Maryland because they damn near ran him out when he was there. Loxley. Shout out to Loxley. Funny story about Mike Loxley. He was supposed to be the first OC for Willie Taggart. He was going to be the guy that Willie Taggart let be the OC. Mike Locksley is a hell of a recruiter. He's done a really good job in Maryland. But again, the guys who won't take it, Maryland, he's the first time Maryland's been to 3 straight bowl games. Mike Locksley can write his own fucking ticket at Maryland. He's gonna get paid a good amount of money, not have no pressure, be right where he's at. He's an older guy. He doesn't necessarily want all that stuff. He is content probably where he's at. You're not going to not like, as I always tell people, sometimes I tell my female friends when they're talking about guys and different things like this and being coveted and being chased and being these things, when you want a dude who's in a prime position, or you want me to make, or I tell people, if you want me to make a move, you got to force my hand. You got to push me in order to do something. Give me something that makes me want to make a move. And a lot of times people don't really understand that. Yo, real talk to a dog to this day. My killer, his middle name is Edgar. He has an old ass name. Makes absolutely no sense. It's Kai Edgar Coleman. He's named after the first Armenian I ever met. It was my guy Edgar Terganicione. So again, Edgar will fit right in with all these transfer portal motherfuckers right now. But Edgar was like one of my really, really good friends. He was a walk-on at Florida State. Edgar was an Armenian Q-dog. Gold teeth, mouthful of gold teeth. Edgar was such a good friend of mine, man. He was a wild boy. Edgar was like one of the first guys to fight for me. True story. My fam didn't really know him like that. I got him tickets to the Orange Bowl my last game at Florida State. Some dude spilled beer on my sister. I'm talking about I got my Swab, Francois, Day. I got all my people from the block, from Rockbrook. They ready to fucking stomp this dude the fuck out for spilling something on my sister. Before they could get an opportunity to get up, T.O.'s ass is up and forces the motherfucker to take his shirt off. Take your fucking shirt off and clean my sister up. And all I heard was like, hey, man, who that crazy ass white boy you gave them tickets to, bro? And I'm like, what crazy white boy? He's like, white. There was like some pilgrim. They didn't say pilgrim. Pilgrim's a Jacksonville term. They said the other word. Motherfucker had a mouthful of gold teeth, man. I was like, oh, you talking about T.O.? Mouthful of gold teeth, cowboy boots, and a cowboy hat. Yeah, so, but that's my Armenian thing. Bobby, my good came. James, you think there's any chance Norvell goes to Texas if Sark goes to Bama? Heard that as a rumor in the FSU space earlier. No. People are trying to use there was one that was kind of scary when Lanning was thinking it, but people thought Lanning was going to be the guy to go to Bama. Oregon probably did have Mike Norvell on that short list. That gets him back out west. A lot of people are saying this because of Mike Norvell's roots. No, I don't see this happening. Look at what Mike Norvell's truly doing. He's assembling, doing stuff. They're firing off. They're going on. They're moving forward. And I think that's where we're going. I believe when Kerry Watkins asked James 4 to 5 more transfers, probably when it's all said and done. I know we got another one coming. We're still going to probably look for. We got the running back visiting this weekend. I know we're going to probably once this because also keep in mind, and this is not an original idea. Talk to OG Rob DeLoach today. Here's the reality. All we want to do is stop being in such a fucking rush to have everything down. If we bring in enough, there's going to be a lot of stuff. At one, chain reaction right here. 30 days for these Bama kids to be able to hit the portal. Not all of them will be able to get on a campus fast enough. They're going to go through a spring. They'll go through the spring, and they'll figure out if they want to hit the portal. And that second wave of portal in the summertime is going to be hitting. You heard it here first. Dun, dun, dun. Florida State's going to have more people hit the transfer portal. We have to. We have to push guys out. It's nothing personal. It's just business. But in order to get these 4 to 5 more transfers, we have to do that. There's a tight end that we probably need. There's a running back that we need. If we can find a top-tier tackle, we'll take a top-tier tackle. Really, another D tackle on the interior. There's going to be some guys that we take that are going to be good. I mean, here's the thing, guys. Isn't coach from Texas? Mike Norvell was 18 years old when he went to college. Mike Norvell is 2 years, maybe 3 years older than me. I turned 40 this year. I believe Mike turns 43 this year. So Mike has been away from Texas for 25 years. Home is where Mike's check is at this point. So, take that for what it's worth. Um, Man, I would say you never know, bro. I'm with you on that. No more Porter wide receivers. Yeah, Phil, I live. That's where I'm from, baby. I, I've shot. Very few know that. I believe they look at every situation possible. I think the biggest thing is as long as they got multiple years of left, we get them. I don't think we push everybody out because we're pretty good at safety. We got Hussey, Kirkland. Man, I always forget the junior college kid that came in that had 3 years to play. We got him. I think I'm not going to say who I think gets pushed out. I don't want to look like I'm going up against. I hope everybody. I think competition um, breeds great teams, and that's how you change the culture. So, yeah, Barker, Jim. I'm gonna ask you this question. And I like this because this is going to help the algorithm. So I need you guys to respond. It's going to be call and response, like some of y'all who probably haven't been to church like me in over a decade. How many of you believe, like, how many, just tell me what you think. How many planes go from Seattle, Washington to Tuscaloosa? How many flights do y'all think go from there to there? Like, because if there was a flight that went from Tallahassee to Tuscaloosa, I could tell you straight up, ain't no flights from Tallahassee to Tuscaloosa. Every flight that comes out of Tallahassee has to go to Atlanta or Charlotte. They're not going direct. If you're going direct there, if somebody finds that, Mike Norvell's probably going there. Seattle, Tuscaloosa, there might be tons of business that could go there. But if you guys could tell me how many random ass flights would go from Seattle to Tuscaloosa, I'm fucking curious because I've never heard of that before. Somebody asked, wait a minute, hold up. People saying if I might Norvell. Yep, Dustin. We there's that flight's been that it should be there by now, actually. I believe the flight was leaving at like, well, it may might not be there. The flight was leaving at like 4. So, if I remember correctly, I don't have it on me right now. But again, this changes recruiting. Shout out to my guy Hector. Oh, Hector. Oh, that's me. I done flipped it accidentally to back to. I done flipped that bitch back to starting. I did not mean to do that. Tuscaloosa probably everybody has a small airport. Millionaire Air. That's cool, Bobby. What you get into? Let me tell you this, Bobby. This is what you do when you come to Tallahassee. Bring you a pair of dress shoes, some khakis, and a polo shirt. It's going to be cold, so you're going to need a jacket. That can get you in the top flight. That can get you in the Shriners. If you go to those clubs, you're going to have a really good time. Old folks clubs, you're going to have a really good time if you're there. The women will make you want to stay here. Um, thank you, Corey. Rob's at 7, so maybe 8 or 9 will know, and this whole thing will be over. But the bigger thing in all of this, the key takeaway in all of this, guys, is, and I want y'all to really remember this. if there's no more questions, if you have more questions regarding FSU and what's going on, we'll still have our show tomorrow, 9:30. We'll have our other show tomorrow, Big Games BS. We should be definitely up and ready for those things. Been traveling a lot, so I want to be able to make sure we're doing that. Shout out! I need some of them. I need some of them. Who was that dude that was on Sporadics the other day? Hey, baby, man, give me some bread. Dog. My man gave $500 straight up to Chris and them boys. Shout out to my guy Chris with Sporadics. Check him out tonight at 8 o'clock. Um, I'm probably not going to be on because I'm traveling. I'm not going to be on with Chris. I just did this because I was just tired of everybody bitching. Like, it was just like kept asking me the same goddamn question. I'm going to leave you guys with this. If you see me panic, panic. I tell everybody this. I tell people this all the time. When I panic, you panic. And on that note, that's what I'll leave you guys with. Hope to see you guys tomorrow morning, 9:30, Big Games BS. We'll go over this in more detail. Hopefully everything will be underway. Whether Mike Norvell stays, whether Mike Norvell goes somewhere else, we'll have a bow on the channel. We'll have a bow on the ordeal. We'll talk more about Nick Saban, his impact with college football. We'll talk about the FAMU saga and the situation going on with that. And anything else that you want. And I want people to remember, 9:30-ish on the channel. Go to our shorts. I didn't like Cat Williams necessarily the interview. He was a little sassy. I don't like sassy men. It bothers me. Shannon's a little sassy. Cat's a little sassy. A little too much sassiness in there for me. But he did say this really good thing about being on time. It just depends on how fast Starbucks is going. So if Starbucks is on point, then I'll be there bright and early at 9:30. Appreciate you guys for chopping it up with me. Make sure y'all check out Sporadics at 8. I may be there, might not, don't know. Love you guys. See you later.